everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is VooDoo Val, and I'm going to be your host for this awesome illustration segment. And I'm joined here today by my friend Hank Washington. Hank, how are you today?
I am good. How is everyone?
I hope they're doing well. I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. I see Cody Bear, I see Darius, I see Sean and Sam and Steve, Festus, Casaboom, the dude with the coolest title in the West. This is awesome. Stella in the house. What's up, Stella? Welcome in, folks. Thank you all for sticking around for this segment, and a big shout out to Miss Kathleen, or Mrs. Kathleen, who was on just before us, styling for
Most def
sure. We were talking about it, weren't we, Hank?
most
We're
definitely. No, thank you, Kathleen. You influenced me to put on a beanie.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to put this on. I
I gotta
can't.
put the beanie on.
Yeah, we got to do something." I was like, "I don't have a hat to reach for, but I got this
Right?
jacket. So hopefully the jacket is upholding the Adobe style for the day that Kathleen has set."
No, you're holding it down. You're holding it down. I'm in the catch up mode. Kathleen just set the bar too high.
I know. I don't know what to do. But but yes, we're very excited to be here. But before we kind of jump into what we're going to be doing for today, I'd like to take the time to do a few housekeeping points. We do have a Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge going on today. So if you folks click the challenge tab above the chat, you can get a little bit more information on what the challenge is, how to join us, how to get involved, how to submit your work, because Hank and I are going to be taking a peek at those entries toward the end of the day, or the end of our stream. And I also want to pop over here to our schedule because we have a jam-packed day of design for today. It's not just me and Hank on the stream. For those of you who are just jumping in, we did have the What's New in Illustrator this morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific with Paul Tranny, followed by Kathleen, who was on just before us doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. We're here for character design right now with the wonderful Hank Washington, followed by Andrew Hockrattle, who is going to be doing the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. Claudie and Giovanna from Print My Soul are going to be here doing editorial design at noon, followed by Andrea Hawk with the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. Kyle T. Webster is going to be doing his epic draw along towards 2:30, and then I actually get to come back and round out the day with Aldo Crusher. We're going to be doing a pretty nifty design off. So that's what's on the schedule for today. I hope you guys kind of stick around and check it out. And find some other segments and stuff to enjoy for the day. And then before we kind of get into what we're going to be working on with Hank today, I would really like to take some time just to check in on the community, check in on you folks in chat, and ask you how you're doing and how you're feeling, because these days times are a little tough, a little hard. We have COVID-19 going on. I know a lot of you are still in quarantine, or maybe you don't have strict quarantine laws going right now, but you're still, trying to manage as best you can. And things are weird right now. Things are different. We also have issues that many of you are seeing in the news about a lot of the injustices and things that are happening around the world right now. And I wanted to take some time and just say that my heart goes out to all of those of you who are involved in all of that, and even those of you who are just watching from home, who have heavy hearts and minds, seeing what's going on. And I wanted to let you all know that Adobe Live is a very safe space where you guys can tell us what you're feeling and express yourselves. And yeah, I just wanted to say that we're here for you. And I'd also like to maybe pass over to Hank a little bit, because I think Hank has some things he might like to say as well. But just know that we're here for you, and we're excited that you're with us today, and we see you.
Most definitely. And yeah, Val, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. It's good that you all are here and just coming to hang with us. Like I said, it's not a pleasant sight that we are seeing, in times like as far as outside and with COVID-19, and then along with just some of the injustice and protest. But I will encourage everyone here just to stay positive and creative as possible. I know it's kind of uncomfortable, but I think us as creators, we have the power to really hold up a mirror and and really influence in ways that maybe some of the people out there that are, fighting for change just like we are, may not be able to show. So definitely be encouraged. Know that your skills and your passion just for being a creative is what the world needs. Like a lot of this, is not necessarily new, at least on the injustice side.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Police brutality has haunted communities for, Black people and Black and brown people for decades. So, I think now we're just actually getting more eyes on it and people can really just see how uneven life is. But again, I want to again encourage every creative out there that if you are experiencing this or you're just seeing it on TV, stay encouraged, stay inspired, continue to fight. And then even if you're not experiencing this directly, if you're an ally, continue to use your platform to help stand up for us. This is not a fight that we can just win by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But just stay in there, and I'm optimistic to see the other side of this. I think that with a combination of what's going on now and our capabilities to really spread this message across, we're really going to see some changes that we can all be proud of, and we can start changing the history books and start telling the real truth and have a positive future for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I love everything that you just said. That's really heartening, and I think you're right. We have a lot of power as creatives, and this is really cool to hear you talk about it, and hopefully inspire those in chat who maybe were feeling down about it. This is a great time to create, a great time to spread positivity. And on that note. We are here to be positive. We are here to do some creating. So, Hank, why don't you introduce yourself and talk to everybody a little bit about what you do in the creative world and what you're going to be working on for us today?
For sure. So I'm Hank Washington, if you guys ain't already read or anything. I'm a designer and illustrator, born and raised out of Mississippi.
Woo!
Good old, yeah, the good old cricket letter.
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised out of Mississippi. I lived in Birmingham Alabama for a while, and now I'm residing in Georgia. I've been kind of in the creative space for close to about 10 years now, doing things from designing. I've worked with agencies and startups for the past couple of years, and I've gotten kind of back in the flow of illustration, which we're going to go over today. And then I started creating, just had the pleasure of working with brands small and large, everything from your out of the garage ideas to just fortunately some corporate Fortune 500 that allowed me to be who I am for them.
Nice.
And then started getting back into illustration and started to develop these characters, which we call fuzzies, which we'll get into in a little bit, and just starting to work on a universe and hopefully bring a little bit of joy through illustrations and color and texture.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. All right. Well, I'm going to pop over here to our stream so everyone can see what you're working on. I love this sketch that you have. I mean, that I'm a huge fan of your work, and I love the fuzzies, and I love all of the interesting shapes you have. But I'm also a huge fan of like Picasso, and this like has that like classic like master vibe to it with all these interesting shapes. I'm super eager to see how you like render these shapes out and how they're gonna overlap. Like I'm losing it over here. I'm silently losing it. I'm very excited.
No, I'm super happy you guys are able to see this process, because you guys show a lot of love, and I'm forever grateful for that. So just to be able to show this behind the scenes, it's gonna be really fun. So
yeah.
Definitely get into it. So yeah, I mean, just to get into it. So I have kind of the sketch here. I was going to go into that process just a little bit, but I want to kind of get a little bit of a head start because I know somebody's going to have questions and I want to be able to show certain techniques, but just kind of a general rule of thumb I love to keep for myself is when I'm sketching, I try to keep things as simple as possible in regards to just shapes. As you can see, like the eyes and the eyebrows along with the lips, they're all just circles. And that kind of helps me come up with multiple ideas and not to be constrained in so much detail, because shout out to those artists, those illustrators that can go into and get those skin details. You guys are amazing. That's just something I just don't want to bring into this right now. But who knows? You never know what things evolve to. But yeah, and then just keeping it simple, and that allows me just to have more fun and having these characters really be a feeling more than just what we actually see. So but yeah, but we have a fun little sketch, so we're gonna get into and start working on building out these shapes.
Awesome. We got a comment from Colby Kleitz here saying, would love to see a video with Hank animating the fuzzies. That is cool, because I've seen some of those animations. I gotta say, Hank, like, I kind of dabble in like animating my own illustrations,
Mm-hmm.
and I aspire to have your animations level of like bounce, kind of, you know, like it's just, they're so cool. And I wish that I could get mine a little more clean, so I think it would be super super cool to kind of see that process one day.
Most
um,
definitely. Most definitely. No, and thank you so much. You guys got me blushing over here. Um, thank you so much. For sure, I would love to just show that process. So thanks, Kobe. Hold me accountable. Like if you like,
hmm.
you don't see it after a while, you're like, Hank, you know, you said you're gonna show this, but
You made a promise, sir, and I want to see that video.
I'm gonna just keep your word if you don't mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
Most definitely. But no, thank you so much. Yeah, these started to evolve into animation just because they had so much life, and I just thought that what can take these a step further. And luckily enough, I had some really good friends who always pushed me to like, hey, these are nice, but we want to see something new. What's next,
Hmm. Hey, those are
So
good friends. Those are good design friends to have. Um,
nah, I wouldn't trade them for the world.
yeah, because sometimes I think it's really easy, don't you think, to like you get comfortable doing a thing and you get really good at it, and then you forget to keep pushing forward a little bit.
Most definitely.
I do that a lot, and then I'm like, maybe I should stop doing Star Wars fan art and actually move to something different. Maybe I'll do that. It's very
Yeah, but
easy to do.
most definitely. But like if you have your thing, there's always levels to it. Like there's different, layers of like things you can always accomplish. Whether if you are an illustrator and you have a certain style,
Hmm.
like what's like the next like level from that? It may not necessarily be something different, but it can be something that you can always push it. So it's always animations. Maybe that's a different maybe different perspectives that you take on like the subject matter. So
Yeah.
it's and that's just the beauty of just being the creative.
Totally
Um,
right. I also love, so I'm kind of looking at your process here, and I'd like to call attention to it because you're like very quickly kind of building out this whole thing with shapes.
mhm.
And I love how you did. I use shapes a lot, and I sometimes I block stuff out with shapes, but I never actually realized how easy it could be to like make a ring just now with just adding that stroke to that, and that worked so well.
Mhm.
So is this like every time you do this, you kind of come in with simple shapes and block it all in, or do you have multiple ways of doing it sometimes?
So it's not a lot of variety in the ways I approach this, but this one in particular, because the all the shapes are fairly simple,
Hmm.
blocking it in just makes it easier to kind of see. And I know I'm kind of moving a little bit faster than usual, but a lot of this is just to be able to see the shapes, and then we're gonna get into like some masking, so where you can kind of see like this little hole here where the head is kind of sticking out of. But this is just a way to just kind of make sure I'm seeing it properly. Because sometimes, in a sketch, and when you actually put those shapes, whether they're vector or rasterized shapes on top of it, it tends to look a little bit different.
Hmm.
And this just allows me to get an understanding of like what I'm actually getting myself into. So right now we're just disregarding any color. I'm just kind of pulling some random colors I have in my palette.
Hmm.
And yeah, and we're just kind of just building this out, right? And just seeing where this can potentially go, and see if there's any adjustments before we actually commit to anything. And this allows us just to pivot and everything. So,
Nice,
but
nice.
but yeah, but I'm jumping back and forth from using regular shapes. You can see like a regular rounded rectangle here, along with the circle and the ellipse. But I tend to switch back and forth to just having some strokes, just because versus Illustrator, mask not the masking, but the Pathfinder
Hmm.
capabilities. It's kind of the same. It's a little bit different within Photoshop, but so strokes tend to be a little bit easier to manage in this case.
All right, all right. I like it. Adobe Live is in the chat saying, I am Hank's #1 fan. I don't know, man. I might be. I don't know. We're gonna have to battle that one out. I'm not sure.
You guys are awesome. And if you told me like 2 or 3 years ago, like I'll be on Adobe Live, is one working with the great VooDoo Val.
Oh, stop! No.
No, no, you're gonna get these compliments. No, I watch every
You will
live stream.
accept these compliments right now.
No,
Well,
but
thank you.
it blows my mind. I'm forever grateful for you all, for sure.
I feel the exact same way. To be, if we can get a little sappy here, because I think exactly as you say, like it is like a super cool opportunity. And Hank and I were actually just discussing before we jumped on the stream. Not only is this a super cool opportunity, just for ourselves in general, but we get to be here and be positive and help people learn things during a tough time, and that makes me feel not only like humbled and honored to be here, but it also makes me excited for the things that I can learn, and also for maybe I will be able to meet and learn about people who are exactly like I was before I started getting into like the online training scene. It's a really cool thing, and I'm glad that everybody in chat is here with us. Obviously super stoked that Hank is here with me, and I'm having a good day. I'm having a good day. I want to share it.
There you go.
This is a cool thing.
Most definitely. Yeah, and even on top of that too, it's like just being able to show what's possible. I know it's kind of a challenge of everyone kind of being home and kind of being unsure about like what's next, to be honest. But showing there's really opportunity within just being creative. Like you can really make your own path.
Oh, yeah.
Really doing this, because honestly, like even coming out of high school and even my early stages of college, like I didn't know anything about this. I didn't even know like what a career looked like. But that just goes to show, like if you love something, and just for everyone in the chat, if you love something and you really care about it, like go hard for it. Like it pays off in some kind of way sooner or later. So.
And it's an interesting thing. I'd like to know about maybe your early stages of like kind of getting into this as a profession. For me, it had that air, as you say. Like I didn't even know what it was gonna look like. I didn't even really know what I was doing or where I was going. I just knew I was like, I gotta draw, I gotta paint, I gotta find some way for this to be a thing. So I was just kind of like, all right, here I go for day 347 in a row, still drawing some stuff on the internet. How do I make this a thing? And it can be really, it can be scary. It can be, there's a lot of unknown. But what did that look like for you? Like how did this all begin? Take us to the beginning, Hank.
Wow. Well, in the early times when man started working the earth.
Long ago.
Long ago. No, so I guess I can start back in high school, is where I was, that weird stage of high school when you're about to, you're about to graduate and you're trying to figure out like, okay, what is really next? Like you got this facade of what college looks like, and that you have to do something to make some kind of income, because parents don't play that after a while. So I was kind of in this weird stage of just figuring out like what was next. So I played sports in high school, and I had these hoop dreams of just becoming a college ball player, and things didn't work out. So I had to kind of pick a career, and I really didn't know what to do. And fortunately enough, a friend of my brother's, my older brother, he had this blog site that blew my mind. I used to love going to the site. And this is kind of the early MySpace time. So yeah, thinking about like music wasn't as accessible as it is now. So like any new tunes that come out or new albums that come out by any artist or any type of media, it wasn't as accessible as it is now. So like I used to always catch up on things on his blog. But the way he designed it was so neat, and I didn't know what to call it, but I just knew that was something I wanted to do. So I told my brother, I was like, hey, I don't know what this is, but I want to like do it. Like I just don't know what it's gonna take. But like if I can make something like this at the end of it, I want to do that. And he was like, yeah, that's just graphic design. And, I ended up starting to look into like what exactly it was, and like kind of where I can learn it. And it was kind of on the edge, right? Because, back then people didn't really understand like how the world was evolving into where like if you literally have Wi-Fi, a laptop, in the Adobe suite, you can literally make a living. Like,
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
just do it. But this is at a time where people didn't really understand that, and it wasn't really heavily encouraged. And it wasn't nobody's fault, right? They knew what it took to survive, and that was just something that was unfamiliar with them.
There wasn't really a system in place, I think, for finding that, and also for like, here's step A through Z on how to make this come true. Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's right. That's literally right on the head right there. It just was. It was just so unfamiliar, just like how to even point to the right resource for that. So it wasn't really heavy encouraged. Like it wasn't like, hey, you tell somebody, hey, I'm gonna be a designer. It's like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, all right. Same with me when I was like, yeah, I want to write stories and paint pictures, and people were like, oh, and I was like, come on, guys,
yeah, I know,
my
like
dreams, like, come on. Yeah, in 1998, people were like, what?
Like what is this? Like rent is on the first.
Yeah, I understand what you want to do, but yeah, but no, it's definitely we have come a very, very long way, haven't we?
A long way. It's amazing, and yeah, and just technology, and then just good people, just like you and the team at Adobe, just encouraging a community of this. It's like we're changing the world. Like we may not necessarily see it right now, but down the road we're changing the world. Sure.
I feel it sometimes, man. I feel it, and it's honestly what helps me feel it is all these wonderful people in chat that come in and they're like, people, hey, I did the daily creative challenge and got a job, like that sort of stuff. I'm just like, that's making it worth it, man. Every time the community succeeds, that's a win. That's how it works. Also, ooh.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. I just was wondering if you were gonna come back. I was like, wait, Hank, wait. What's going on? This was not scripted. What's happening?
Sorry about that.
I told Adobe Live I was gonna battle for being Hank's #1 fan, and Adobe Live says, I mean, we could make that happen. So I said, tentative challenge accepted. I don't know what I just signed up for, but it's gonna happen, whatever it is.
You gotta break into your warrior spirit, VooDoo. You have to, like, bring the voodoo that you do.
I'm gonna put my war paint on, which just means I'm gonna make my eyebrows even sharper. And then you're really gonna be in trouble, Adobe Live. As soon as these eyebrows get real fleeky, that's when it's going down. So watch out. I'm gonna put the winged eyeliner on, and nobody will be safe.
I love it. No, I love it. No, you guys are amazing. Yeah, I'm just over here just blushing. I'm just trying to relax.
Good. Yeah, breathe. Cody Bear says that in 1 hour we will be going over your daily creative challenge art. Yes, indeed. Join the community Discord and submit your work here in the current challenge tab. Yes, so there is a link, everyone, to the Photoshop Discord. We are very eager to see your challenge entries. I believe today our challenge is warping text. We're going to add movement using text and a displacement map, which is super awesome. I actually learned about displacement maps watching Adobe Live, and now it's one of my favorite things to do when I need to make things look super weird. And it's cool. So I'm eager to see your entries, everyone, and I'm sure Hank is too, because we get to check them out, give some feedback. So definitely get those entries in.
Most definitely.
Not the winged eyeliner. Yep, better watch out, Ariana. I don't play.
Awesome. No, you guys are amazing. So just to kind of get a status update here. Yeah. So what we've done here is like we have a lot going on, and that's the update. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's it.
There's a lot going on. So we just have some simple shapes here. Again, nothing is solid in color. We're just kind of showing a little bit of where the shapes are basically taking place, and it's starting to make a little bit more sense, at least to me. But I promise it'll make sense more to you all here in a second. But what we're gonna start doing is just hiding a lot of these shapes and start getting into masking and just making sure that the colors are right. And I have a few color palettes that I pulled from the Adobe Color, which is actually a really great tool that helps me out a lot.
Can I ask you a question?
For sure.
What? I'm sorry, everybody's probably looking at the face that I just made, wondering what's wrong. How are you hiding the visibility of your layers so fast?
Oh, so yeah, quick trip. So actually, if you hold down, so if you click on the layer I here, and if you hold it down and roll, well, oh, not bad. If you hold it and kind of scroll down, it'll automatically select the layers that you hover across, and if you let it go, it'll do all of those.
I
Um,
literally could do nothing but like hold my own face. I'm so uh this is good. This is great. I didn't
Definitely
know that.
shortcuts.
Ooh.
There you
That's crispy. That's good. That's good. I'm going to use
go.
that like every day now.
Hey, that's lit. Now I'm
Thank
glad
you.
work time. No, I understand. Like the constant selecting, it gets tiring when you have like 100 or something layers. It's like, uh,
What
okay.
am I doing? Yeah, and you'll know I have like sometimes when I'm painting, it's like layer
Mhm.
427 and I'm like, yeah, I know. It's organized. I know where stuff is at. I
Right.
know what I'm
I got
doing.
this.
Ariana
Come on.
says, great question, Val. I thought I was tripping. Me too. Did you see my face? I was like, wait. There's no way he's clicking that fast. And if he is, this man is a robot. There's no way.
No, that's hilarious. No, I'm so glad I'm able to share that with y'all. That it's a game changer. Literally, if you just click on the layer, you can have like two layers, like one hitting and one shown like next, because it'll stop it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just have consecutive layers showing, if you just select one and just scroll on top, you just scroll through them,
Mm-hmm.
it'll automatically reveal them, and once you let it go, it'll appear.
Amazing.
Game changer.
Wow. My new favorite
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, so awesome. So what I'm doing now is basically I'm just building out the shape. So what I've done, and let me take a quick step back here. So what I've done is delete that. Is I created just a selection here on this kind of little inner area, and this is going to be really the inside of the head. And let me hide that top little circle there. So I have this selected, and what I'm doing is I'm just gonna hit Command if you're on a Mac, and just have this selected. And what I'm gonna do is if you hit Command Shift I, it inverts it, so you can see like this little outline coming on the outside of the frame, the working area that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
with
that
the
would
circle,
be Control Shift I if you're on a PC for folks at home.
yeah, Control Shift I, and it inverts your selection. And I have the circle layer right here selected. I'm just gonna add a layer mask on that. So right now you can't see it, but if you hide the circle, it basically just hides the little,
Nice.
almost like a little, oh, like a gothic font oh type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, like a fancy O.
Definitely. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna invert. If you select this, I'm gonna invert this mask, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna draw in the rest of the circle because we don't want this side. And I'm sure there's a quicker, better way to do it. This is just the way like I just work, so it's just just have to roll.
Whatever works for you works. That's something that I had to learn the hard way, I think, because I watching other people work, it's always really cool to try new techniques, and some things I think are necessary at least to keep in mind, even if you don't do every single step of certain kinds of art. But one of the things I had to realize is the way that somebody else does something might not be what's right for me, and sometimes taking the long way around
Mhm.
brings me a lot of joy,
Most
and
definitely.
that in itself makes everything makes it worth doing and makes it an integral part of my process, you know. So
1000%.
even if there is a different way to do it, if this is what makes you happy and that's how you like to do it, then that's how you're supposed to do it, you know.
Most definitely.
Ariana says, I definitely learn something new every day with these streams. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Let me scroll through and make sure I have not missed any questions. Darius hyping us up in chat saying it would be nice if y'all smash the like button. Indeed, Indeed, that would be super lit.
Most definitely. Like literally break the like button. Like break it.
Just
Don't like the
boop
animation
it.
of shattering.
Boop it, guys. Is it bad if I liked my own? No, because this is your stream. I'm here. I'm the hype man, so I can like it. So that works.
Like
yeah, I liked it.
Love yourself. If you're on it, you should like your own post.
Aww.
Like your own post. You're good.
Sometimes I do, and I don't say something about it. I mean, now the cat's out of the bag, so you guys know that on all of my posts, 1 like is mine. But if Hank says it's okay, then it's okay. And
I just want that. I endorse you to like yourself, like all your posts and your work everywhere.
I'm proud of it. You're right. I should like my own work because I put the time into it.
There you go.
Andrew Hawkrattle in the chat. What is up?
Andrew. Yo, shout out Andrew. I actually watched a live show with him the other night, and he was working on a branding project that really actually helped me out for a client that was coming up. So Andrew, you're amazing, man. I love your nails. I love your swag. I can't wait to see you again.
I love his nails too. I actually am always, every time I watch an Andrew Hawkrattle stream, I'm always like trying to scope the nails just in case there's a new color or something. It's like a game that I'm also playing while watching his broadcast. I'm always looking.
No, Andrew's swag is just impeccable. I've met him. I remember at Creative South, he dressed up as Chun-Li from Street Fighter, and
we just did a video game themed stream together, and he was in the Chun-Li costume, and I dressed up as Ryu. And that was like, when I had told a few people, like, yeah, you know, we're gonna be cosplaying. Me and Andrew are dressing as Ryu and Chun-Li, and they were like, oh, Val, you're gonna look so cute as Chun-Li, and I'm like, oh yeah, because that's how we're doing this thing. That's how it's going. I just didn't tell anyone, and then they were like, wait.
That's hilarious.
He showed up with the buns on. I was like, that's right. Yes.
And that's what I love about it. Like, he doesn't go halfway with anything. He just does it, and I can appreciate that so much.
I aspire to that level of like hype for myself, you know.
Most definitely.
Screenshots or it didn't happen, says Adobe Live. Oh, there's screenshots. There's some screenshots I wish didn't exist, but there are some. I have this on camera. Yes.
So Andrew, you would never run away from that. I apologize, my friend, but you have to suffer.
Yeah. He says you got to keep him on the edge of the seats. Yes, indeed. I also highly recommend, if you haven't seen it already, he did also take us on safari a few times. I'm not going to say anything more than that. You're just going to have to go find it. Yeah.
There you go. You have to leave it at that.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I get.
Hilarious.
I'm loving this so much. This is looking to me like there's like a head coming out of another head. And I don't know if there is like a very particular like symbolism behind that, but it seems like, I won't make it super deep unless it is, but I'm getting a lot of like super interesting vibes from this.
Feel free. That's the point of art. Art's supposed to provoke a feeling, provoke a thought. If you feel it, definitely. One thing I have struggled with is just, and a lot of people are starting to point it out to me, is that I struggle with like naming these characters. So I never have like a solidified name for none of these. And I'm just gonna call this one like the inner cool, but I don't know what these characters actually are.
The inner cool, that's awesome.
The inner cool. Just like everybody has it in them, and I understand like everybody may feel like they're not cool, but trust me, you're cooler than you think you are, and you just have to let it out sometimes, you know.
That's a hard lesson to learn, actually, being cooler than you think you are. I think as artists too, like, you're always your own worst critic. And so it's really hard for me to feel cool sometimes, unless of course I'm dual streaming with Hank Washington, and then I have like a lot of reasons to feel cool. Yeah.
There you go. No, you're already cool. You're already cool.
Thank you. No, I really love this though. I think it's got a lot of really great symbolism and just kind of like deeper meaning to it that kind of is reaching me. So that's really cool. Is inner cool? Sorry.
No, most definitely. And yeah, and like I said, if anyone's out there, if you have suggestions for names, I actually had I put one illustration out a while back, and people really were creative on names. I think one person, it was like this character I put like they had this really really dope hairstyle where it's like this big ponytail, almost like the Marge Simpson type
Mm-hmm.
ponytail. And I had like this little bit of character kind of sticking out of it, and the main character, the one with the hair, had like a little lollipop, and
Mm-hmm.
people were just coming up with some amazing names. I think one of them was like Lolly, that was coming Lolly and Pop. That was one
Lolly
of
and
them.
Pop. Oh, that's so cool.
You guys killed it. I literally that's probably one of my favorite illustrations to the day because you guys like were able to like give out some amazing names.
That's rad. That's rad. Well, chat, if you guys have any name ideas for this inner cool character or characters, I guess it's two. Definitely shout them out in chat. Let's hear what you guys can come up with.
Most definitely.
Uh,
Spit them out.
Cornell. Spit them out. Cornell says, same for me. I am my own worst and best critic. You know, that's interesting. I've never heard somebody say I'm my worst and best critic before. But I guess, yeah, that can totally be legit, because sometimes I'm like, man, Val, you gotta step up your game, and then sometimes I'm like feeling it. I'm like, look what you did! Look at what you did! You did this! I made this!
There you go.
Those are the good days.
There you go. No, that's the energy. That's the energy you need.
Mm-hmm.
It's good if you have the energy to like push yourself, but not necessarily talk down on yourself as much. I think that's a win. That's such a hard like. I think I think it's a soft skill that is really hard to like really master. So if you're actually able to do that, then you know you're winning for sure.
It's definitely for me like feeling better about my work and kind of keeping myself motivated to do work and try again even after I fail. It's been something that I worked on for like a long time, and I noticed that in order to succeed at that, one of the main things I really had to pay attention to is my inner monologue. I noticed that my inner monologue was very negative. Whenever I would do work that I didn't particularly like or work that I wasn't proud of, my inner monologue was, I was like downing on myself a lot, and I started to change those inner words to things more positive and encouraging, and basically I started to be kinder to myself until I felt better about the work that I was doing. And it might sound weird, but it really works. It really does. And I think I feel better just in day-to-day life when I'm a lot nicer to myself in my head.
Right.
You know?
Definitely. No, and kudos to you. And like that's a big challenge to overcome. I want to say I listened to a talk by Chris Do, and he had this like I think it was something like he was saying like, what you believe is who you are. And it literally like your change of thought can really change your whole life. I know that's kind of cliche to say, but it is 1000% true.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because like just literally just my grandma always used to tell me, you always find what you look for. You look for bad, you're gonna find bad. You look for good, you always gonna find bad. And no, but just for you having the courage and the energies to be able to speak life into yourself is huge. And for anyone out there, if you're struggling with that, it's a good skill to practice. Like if you find yourself in a hard mood, just like take a deep breath and like speak some type of positivity, or be around people who constantly do that for you.
Oh yeah.
Just learn from them. Like just like see what they're saying. Like try to see like how they see you, and it'll change the game.
Yep. And I think those are really great points of advice just for everyday life, not just doing artwork, I think doing that for my artwork really changed things for the positive just in my day-to-day, because once you start really being kind to yourself, it's really hard to not be kind to yourself in all the other aspects of your life. And then it starts spreading, and then you start being kinder to other people, and then other people start being kinder to more people, and it spreads. It's good stuff.
Definitely. Man, it's just some good vibes in this stream
I
today.
know, man. I know.
Breaking a Friday. That's how
I
you.
knew I
That's how.
was excited about this though, like, cause we kind of when we had our little meeting, I was like, "This is gonna be fun," and you're like, "Yeah, it's gonna be fun." I was like, "I know, it'll be lit."
No, it's gonna be epic. Well, awesome. So we pretty much got a color set up here. So yeah, we're actually gonna get into the fun part, which is actually adding some fuzzy textures in here. So let's make sure we got everything pretty much set up. And I know I'm kind of moving kind of fast, and if we have plenty of time, I have other illustrations we can definitely get started on. So definitely don't want to feel like everyone's missing anything, but we can definitely keep this going.
Well, I think we're actually setting a pretty good pace, just because normally we would have 2 days, you know.
Right.
So we're hanging out just for the one day today, and I think you're making great time. And also, we're having a good chat and everything. And like you said, you've got some other stuff. I wouldn't worry about it. This is
Here you
a
go.
this is a good vibe stream. We're all good.
Here you go. Good vibes over everything.
Cody Bear says, "Not everything is about being famous. There are many wonderful designers that aren't well known." You know
Well,
what? That Darius says, "Truth juice." Yes. What? Truth
most
juice.
definitely.
That's what I'm just gonna lay down every time somebody says something cool from now on. Truth juice. No, that's totally true, because I actually, over the years, many times, have realized that things that I really love were done by certain people,
Hmm.
and I had no idea who they were, and I still, and I know, knew very little about them, but rather I knew them or not, they changed my life for the better, you know.
Right.
And I think when you do that, it doesn't always matter, and fame can be nice, and recognition for that work can be really nice, but I can tell you from personal experience, when you chase it, it doesn't always end up. It's like making a wish, it's like finding a genie. It's like you wish for something and you get it, but not the way you thought you would.
Right.
But when you focus on the positive and you focus on other things, I think that what you need comes to you, in the way that it's meant to come to you. Because I think, especially when I was first starting my career, and let me know if you maybe experienced a little bit of this too, Hank, because I
Hmm.
see it prevalent in a lot of people, actually, and that is that we have artists that we admire, and so
Hmm.
we emulate them as much as we can, and then we down on ourselves when we don't have like 100,000 followers, and we don't have like
Right.
several hundred likes on our tweets, and we don't have all these people, like, giving us that attention constant nonstop, and so we kind
Right.
of overextend ourselves to try and get that. um,
Hmm.
but it's a gradual thing, and for me personally, now that I have people who do pay attention to my work in that way, I find it's not even the most rewarding part of my job. The most rewarding part of the job is doing this, is like interacting with Hank, talking with people directly in chat, um,
Hmm.
but man, when I first started, every single like was like blowing my mind, and I was like, need more, I need more. And then now
Yeah.
it's like the likes don't always show the impact that you have on the world. It's talking with
Mhm.
people and connecting with people that really shows, the truth, I think. What
Most
about, like,
definitely.
how do you feel about that? Like, how was it when you first started on social media? Because I know you have a fabulous following right now, but what was that journey like for you, on social media?
Right. It was very similar. Early on starting on, there was kind of the phase of just trying to just trying to live up to a standard. I felt that, you kind of, as an artist, you start to, sometimes get into this feeling of, people have to appreciate what it is that you do. Because it's just kind of a natural feeling that if you ever in any type of creative space. Um, but yeah, I felt the same type of challenges. I was watching people who were creating work, and sometimes, in my young naive mind, I always felt like, why did this get so many likes? Like, this doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like,
I
why do
spent
people
12
like this?
hours on this, and I spent 30
What?
seconds on this garbage sketch, and
It's
it
like
goes
what?
viral, and not. Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like, I don't understand this at all.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I started to learn, and I had a friend of mine tell me, is like, nobody posts their failures. They don't. Social media is a space where people are going to, majority of the people are going to show their best, but like face possible, or like their best foot forward. And another thing too is like you never understand like what people start from. Those works, you never know like what evolved people to be where they are now. And I just started to learn like I came in trying to fit a standard that I hadn't even gone through the process to know what that standard really looks like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's people coming out here with this amazing work, or they're getting like 20, 50,000 likes on things. But if you scroll all the way down, and like if they're if they're open enough to keep their work up there that long, you'll see like they started at a place where they may only got like 15, 20 likes maybe on a post, or even less. But they had to grow, and it comes through a level of consistency, and just kind of fighting who your real fans are. But also, and you made a great point too, is like really finding what's actually valuable. And like I said, impact is huge. I think one of the comments that I think someone said in the chat was, there's a lot of artists that you don't even know that really make impactful work.
Yeah.
And that's so true. Like, I don't know, I'm one of those weird people. If you ever go to the movies, I literally sit in the credits, and like,
Yeah.
we sit in the
Yeah.
credits, we're just like looking for who's the animator, who's the art director behind
Yeah,
this.
I look for the concept artists and like the animation team and everything, and I sit there, and some people, like, I drive them nuts, and I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand how much work it is, and how
this is an important part of the movie.
This is the best.
Most definitely. No, and it's amazing too. And you try to look them up, and sometimes it's hard to even find them. Like, they're not even on the grid, and that just lets you know like you don't have to have like this big facade or this big following just to do something really impactful. Like, we go to the movies, like the whole Marvel series, like there's designers and artists on there that you would have never heard of if those movies came out, but they worked on some amazing projects that literally changed the way we look at movies. But impact is everything, and I know that even on top of that, for me, like it was even a struggle just finding designers who just looked like me. It's not that none of them was out there. It was just they wasn't in the limelight, or on those forums or places that you will find that type of work at. But that started to change the game for me. Is like when I started to understand that, and how much impact you can really have on just showing someone that may have come from where I came from, where like art is not necessarily an appreciated career path, to show them that this is, you can make it, like you legit can pay your rent, save money, and invest in things literally just from drawing circles and adding texture like we're doing here.
Yep, you really can. And it's more or less acceptable in different places that maybe don't have a large design scene, because I've noticed there's a lot of places in California specifically where if you tell people like, oh, I'm a designer, people are like, ooh, wow, a designer, that's cool. And then you go someplace else and you're like, I'm a designer, and they're like, of what exactly? What do you and they're like, or you tell them, you do like, oh, I'm a concept artist, and they're like, a what artist? What is that? Oh, I design apps. And they're like, but like, how important is that really? Like it definitely changes from place to place, but I think that especially things like this, like what we're doing today, is a really great opportunity just to kind of show off that it works, especially for people who maybe haven't had the opportunity to experience other people that take it seriously. That was a big deal for me, is like finding other people that took it seriously and were like down for it. I was like, no way, I can do that. Then if they think it's a thing, then it really is a thing, right?
No, most definitely.
Also,
and,
we get a question
them.
real quick, sorry. Do we have information on the brush you're using? Because people are wondering about what brush you're using right now.
Yes. No, thank you all for asking, because I am just here just moving. So yeah, so what I'm actually using is it's a custom made brush that I made. It's called I call it fuzzy because we're working with fuzzies.
Mm-hmm.
And just what I've done is if you open a new file, I just added just some just small speckles, like small circles on here, and created a new brush. I think I've seen this in the some of the tutorials on the Adobe Live. But I ended up creating just a fuzzy brush, and you can kind of see some in the presets here. Let me make sure I have it selected. But I have just a few settings on these just to kind of have it a little bit jittered and kind of have like this randomness to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see I have this jitter and this kind of this count, a little bit of smoothing. But this is just kind of just a brush that I made. There are plenty of brushes I've even seen in some of the Adobe packs. I think one specifically was like the cow. I want to say
Mm-hmm.
it's a cow. Can't remember the exact name. Um, I had to
Sometimes
find the
brushes
name.
have weird names.
A lot of weird names.
I got a brush pack from a painter
Mhm,
once who I can't remember who it is. Somebody in chat might know who I'm talking about. He named, like, when you open it up, it was all the brushes were in folders, and all
mhm.
the folders were named after TV shows. So you go into like the Game of Thrones TV show, and there'd be like a Tywin Lannister brush and a Cersei Lannister brush and a Jon Snow brush, and you could remember like what all the brushes were and everything based on that. And it like
Mhm.
actually kept things organized for me for a long time. I was thinking about going through and just like renaming all of my brushes like
That
that.
is epic.
It works, man. It
That is
works.
epic. No,
Yeah.
I love everything about that. No, I'm definitely gonna do it. That's my homework. I need to write that down.
Mm-hmm.
You name all my brushes from each character from The Office.
Yes, yes. Cody says, "How does Hank go about choosing his colors? What inspires them?"
Yeah, so with colors, this actually takes me the longest, believe it or not, in regards to just finding just a good palette. So there's a couple of things I try to keep in consideration of color. I always look for just things that are colors that are bright enough to want to be highlights and dark enough to be shadows, and then just have a combination of just mid tones. And I try to keep them like very random, so they're not too like um, monochromatic, or if they're more complementary than anything, that tends to work out a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But just looking for those different shades of lighting in the color. One kind of a good rule of thumb that I try to remember and go into this, I try not to use, unless the concept calls for it, is like a direct black or a very harsh white color.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm just using, if I have to use just a little bit of it. And what that does is just helps me, it helps kind of keep the illustration very vibrant, so because blacking can get really really harsh, and it works
Mm-hmm.
great for certain shadows and certain concepts, and at times it can be unforgiving,
Mm-hmm.
versus using like a purple or a navy blue, or maybe even just like a brown, just to like really pull out a shadow. It still gives a good sense of light, and just have and just keep it colorful. I think that's a good way to guess kind of the simple way to approaching it. But no, that's a really great question. Thank you. I'm just moving. I'm not. And I'm just up here just drawing and having good convos. To get to like we just got to show people what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know that what you said is really awesome because it's something that I'm trying to keep in mind even for my own work these days
Hmm.
because I use a lot of black in my paintings,
Hmm.
tons of black. And typically, like I consider myself to be like a dark fantasy artist. I do
Gotcha.
a lot of portraits that are all like pretty spooky. Um,
Hmm.
so it works for me, but um, sometimes I do find that I have to like take a step back and really do some research on my colors because sometimes you're right, like a purple or something else is way more necessary when it comes to using color for shadows because black can get muddy really
Yeah.
fast, especially if you're using like if you had used black with these colors. I think that it would be quite harsh, so it really depends
Mhm.
on what you're working with. And like you, choosing color for me is one of the longest stages of
Yeah.
my work. And uh mostly because I do everything in grayscale and then I experiment with color later, because it's just too much for me to try and paint everything
Right.
like in color and still like be working on like designing what I'm doing. Sometimes I just go for it instead of like thumbnailing and stuff. So
There
it's
you go.
just too many steps happening all at once, so I like to color afterwards. um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, I'm kind of definitely in the same boat with that, kind of making those decisions based on
Mhm.
the colors surrounding my shadows and highlights.
Definitely.
Everyone's talking about what they want to name their brushes after. Colby is saying name brushes after Pokemon. Richard says Star
Yeah.
Wars characters. I see you, Richard. Uh, Ariana says Team Supernatural.
There
Awesome.
you go. Love it.
Yes, yes. I think I would probably choose like there's definitely be Star Wars brushes in my folders, but I think I would choose like all of my favorite franchises, you know, and
Oh,
then have a folder for each one with brushes in there, because maybe, you know, my Star Wars brushes are my painterly brushes, and maybe, you
hmm,
know, my what's a good show that I like True Detective brushes would be
mm,
like, you know, my clean brushes, you know, like
there
that,
you
you know, and just have that would and honestly, like having brushes organized like that, I think it's a good idea typically to organize your workspace in a way that helps you work the fastest, right? And not even just with
go.
organizing
Definitely.
brushes, but I see you, Hank, you have like your layers panel popped out and you have everything
Hmm.
pushed to the side there.
Hmm.
So you've kind of like customized and like brought things where you need them. I encourage everyone in chat to take some time today or the next time you have some free time, experiment with rearranging your workspace. Really try
Definitely.
it out. If you have features that you use in your apps where you have to like go into a menu and select things, see if you can get in there and find a way to add it to your toolbar instead. See how you feel about putting your toolbar on the other side of your monitor or at the top or floating in space. Really get in and test out a new way of working, because I finally did that a few years ago and it actually shortened my work time exponentially because everything was where I needed it. It was very feng shui,
Yeah.
compared to just like going into the menu and scrolling
Yeah.
down to what I want, you know? So it's really a good thing to do.
No, that's actually great advice. That's something I'm currently learning right now, and that's and it's a game changer. Like just to be able to have your workflow organized, um, and just like your workspace organized is something fairly new that you know I've definitely failed at early on, but it's definitely a game changer. So that's actually something I'm actually gonna take. That's a good takeaway from this.
Awesome, awesome. Also,
Definitely.
I'm keeping an eye on the clock here, folks. We got about 30 minutes until Hank and I take a look at your challenge entry. So please check out the challenge tab above the chat. You can get a little bit of information in there on what the challenges are, how to get involved in them, and how to participate. Kathleen was just on just before Hank and I, and she was kind of running through the challenge and how it works. You guys can also get like a little instructional kind of spiel on the landing page if you go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. You can also watch the video there. You can also download the starter files to get going, and then post it in the hashtag current challenge channel in the Photoshop Discord, because that's where we're going to be looking. We're going to offer a little bit of feedback and just take a look at your work. And it's kind of a nice, I really like being able to go over them on stream, because not
Mhm.
only do they get like one-on-one feedback, because a lot of the people that do the challenges sometimes are beginners,
Mhm.
but we also get to give you guys like a cool little spotlight on the stream, you know? Like for those of you who are like coming here and doing these challenges all the time, I've always really loved being able to be like, look at what you did, and it's here, and everyone can see it, and it's really cool. And I must point out, because sometimes that can be a little nerve-wracking or a little daunting, but with the daily creative challenge, you don't even have to finish it. You can post a work in progress and get feedback on it. You know, you can test it out and just try something out, even if you are super new to the program, and just put it in there. We don't need you to finish a perfect 100%
Hmm.
epic piece of art. You know, we just want to see what you guys do.
Definitely. Most definitely. You know, that's
Um,
actually a game changer too. Is like being like brave and courageous enough to show like your progress or your process behind like creating something beautiful. Like
mm-hmm.
that's I've come to learn that that's what people love. Like if you can take them on a journey of like where you were and then ultimately show them where you are, and then down the road show them where you're gonna be,
Oh
is
yeah,
a
it really is. It really is. I think healthy encouragement really can be so much of a person's success, you know, which is why you know, one of the reasons why I love Adobe Live so much, because since I got here, since, you know, since day one, it's
Mhm,
always been an encouraging, you know, positive, healthy atmosphere
mhm,
where even I like, you know, and I'm on the streams and I'm, you know, helping moderate in the chat and I'm doing all these things. Even I need that sometimes. I think a
mhm,
common misconception is like if you see people on the stream or you see people who are doing work in the industry already,
mhm,
then they're good and they're squared away, you know. But like coming to Adobe Live has given me that extra, you know, encouragement and the extra confidence some days when I don't have it. And I think that a lot of people would be surprised, like just how much that positivity can go, truly.
mhm.
Because sometimes it's the difference between you having the confidence to take a new job or not, right?
Yeah,
It's the difference between you having the confidence to try a new concept or a new process or not, you know.
most
And
definitely.
it can really be everything.
Most definitely. See, I heard that W Live. You guys are changing lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Phil Trask says, Hank, do you usually draw in Photoshop? If so, why do you prefer it to using Illustrator or other programs? Do you find there are distinct advantages to Photoshop?
Really good question. So, yeah, usually drawing Photoshop. The reason I like Photoshop is just because of how flexible it is in handling things like a brush. I'm not too familiar of just painting in general on in Illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
So it may work for other people, but just for me and just like the ease of it, this is something. This is kind of where I learned it, so I'm kind of biased towards using Photoshop for this. But I try to leave Illustrator strictly just cause like to where it has its advantages, and that's just being more of a vector-based programs versus with Photoshop it handles pixels just a little bit better, and then just being familiar with it, it helps a lot to kind of know how the programs work, or how the tools work. And if there's ever a time crunch of certain things, I honestly have to um, relearn the technique. But again, like if you see that Illustrator works better for you, um, definitely don't feel that you have to, confine just to Photoshop. It just works best for me, in a sense of just how it handles things like the pixels itself, the variety of brushes, and even just like the opacity and flow of brushes. That is a really big game changer. Um, in regards to just how I approach this work. But that's a really great question, and thank you for that for sure.
Alexandra says, listening to Adobe Live helped me get out of a creative rut and a rough patch. Awesome. Clever Devlin says, I am doing work in the industry. I do not know it all. That is so great. And also so true. Because like I think we've been talking a lot about like the professional perspective versus the newcomer's perspective, you know? A lot of our topics today have kind of been on that and maybe revealing the truth of both sides. And that is definitely one of the truths, is that when you first come into this, you look up to people who are doing the work that you want to do and you see them a certain way. And I mean, I'll be honest, some of the people I look up to, I don't care how much experience I have working professionally, I still think they are the most epic people around. You know, that I'm not going to say that that goes away, but at the same time, everyone is just human, except for those of you incognito in disguise. In the chat. And for the
Yeah.
most part, everyone is human except for the aliens that are watching in on us today.
There you go.
And we, you know, we don't know it all. And you can get really, really good at the things that you specialize in, but that does not mean that we aren't also prone to mistakes sometimes. And it's not something that you should be ashamed of, because that's something that I've seen a lot is people like, once you do start working professionally, that was a big thing for me. I started working professionally, and then I thought people perceived me in a certain way, and then I was like, I can't mess up. I can't mess up. And then I was like, why would I hold myself to the, this notion that I can't make a mistake? Like, that's going to drive me insane. But yeah, you got to remember that.
Most definitely. And it's human nature, right? We're always going to hold us up to like a standard. It maybe just come down to like maybe how you were raised, or, who you're constantly around. But even your professionals, like, they're all out here trying to figure this out. I'm honestly trying to figure this out like right now. I have no clue what like next week is going to bring, let alone tomorrow. So, it's, you never have to feel like you have to be an expert. It's just, I don't really think there's really just a kind of a such thing as an expert in a sense. Obviously you can have the title in there is kind of a credential thing that follows up with that, but it's just experience. Like if you see things a lot, then you understand what it is. If you haven't seen a lot, you're not expected to just to know exactly what to do and how to do it, and be okay with that. Like it's like, right now we're in a time like nobody knows like what's for certain, but at the end of the day, what you know, and then just like how do you capitalize on that, and then how do you add on to that, and that what makes you the professional that you are. So just remember, this is a quote a buddy of mine told me a long time ago, and it still haunts me to this day, but it's such a great quote. He's like, literally nobody can beat you at being you. Like, you're already undefeated. So like, never feel like if you're not advanced in something, like it's only just because of what you have experienced, not that you can't do it.
We got a message here from Darius. It says, Hank, the half circle looks like a Cheeto Puff, and the full circle looks like a Cheerio. And Darius, I see your Cheeto Puff and your Cheerio, and I raise you a Nilla wafer.
Yeah.
And this illustration is starting to look so delicious. Now I can't unsee it, and it's great.
No, that's epic. Yeah, the eyebrows tend to come out as Cheetos at times, and no, I'm so glad he brought that up. That's so funny.
And it's like, obviously not a bad thing. It's just like, I love to hear what people kind of see in art, especially with art like this that is so like expressive. It's got so many interesting shapes and things kind of floating around to make characters. And it's really cool to see what people perceive in that. But I was looking at the yellow eyeball, and thinking like, I have a box of Nilla wafers in the kitchen, and as soon as this stream is over, that is where I'm going to directly. And then he said Cheeto Puff and Cheerios, and I was like, and then after I eat those Nilla wafers, I'm going directly to the corner store to get some Cheeto Puffs, because now I need them in my life.
There you go. Dinner is now room.
Yeah, you have inspired me as an artist and inspired me to snack. It's happening.
There you go. Ooh, idea alert. That actually might be a good name for these.
Oh yeah?
Cheeto and wafer, or Cheeto and
yeah. Ooh. See, look at you coming up with names now. Didn't you just say you like never name them?
Hey, this is progress being televised right now. Progress being televised.
This is live. This was not planned, folks. This is totally spontaneous.
Not at all.
It's like an ink blot test, but delicious.
Wow.
That's from Cody Bear. Nice.
Wow.
So yeah, and Jennifer was just saying, so the name should have something to do with snacks. Yes.
Winner.
Yeah.
Wow. The ink blot, that needs to be a poster.
Oh yeah.
Whoever said that, make that a poster and make it available. I'll buy it.
Honestly, Cody Bear is one of the many masters of posters. She makes excellent posters, and I think that she could really style that out.
Shout out Cody.
Yeah.
Cody, that's the mission.
Yeah.
Inkblot.
She's I don't know, because Wade and Cody are both in the chat, and so I don't know who is officially modding for us. Probably Cody, I think. But Cody, if you are our moderator today, you just got a free pass from Hank to start shouting out your own links. So please put them in the chat.
1000%.
Yes.
1000%.
As a mod, that always makes me like, that's one of the things that always made me nervous. When people would be like, hey, you do art too, what's your link? And I'm just like, I'm the mod. I am not supposed to be. No.
You do a discreet. He's like, I cannot tell you that my link is yada 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 yada.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that.
I cannot tell you where I am located at on Instagram at this exact URL. That would be uncouth, sir. That would be
Most definitely.
It's Cody, definitely Cody. Okay. Wow, amaze, Cody says. Yes, I want to see some. I've had a lot of dual streams with Cody where we both created art together, and she has got like a really excellent kind of flair. Also a kind of a texture person. I think that I know that she loves your art, but I think if you saw hers, you would really, really love it, because you guys also have this great way of like coming in and applying these beautiful like painted textures into shapes and stuff, and it's just awesome. Yeah, there we go. There it is in the chat.
Hey, most definitely. No, I'm gonna go check that out. See if I can find some of this steel.
I like that we both went into evil mastermind laugh there, and I'm so glad, because as I started doing it, I was like, oh, this could either go bad or sort of good.
You gotta go for it. You gotta go for it. There's no shame.
Awesome. I'm really glad you're right there with me. I feel great. Also, we got about 20 minutes until we do the challenge reviews on your entries for the Daily Creative Challenge. So definitely get those challenges into the Discord, because we want to see your work. Jennifer says, it is making me want to snack, but nothing shall keep me from dinner tonight.
There you go. There you go. Speaking of dinner, what are you guys eating tonight?
Duo. What am I eating tonight?
Yeah, what's for dinner today?
I think that I have successfully convinced my brother to cook steak tonight. So my brother's gonna come and he's gonna come cook me a steak, I think. I was just like, I really want, it was actually like, I say convincing, but what I really mean is incessantly whining until I got my way, because I can cook. I cook a lot, and I cook well, but steak is not my forte. Like, he just knows exactly how to make, like, a perfect steak, and I'm like, I'm gonna need you to come over here.
There you go.
And work this magic, because my voodoo is not even strong enough to prepare a perfect steak. It's just not.
No, that's an epic win. No, if you can ever win a steak dinner, like that is the way to go.
Darius says, don't forget that you and Gus have to challenge to become Hank's #1 fan. Oh yeah, that's happening. That's definitely happening.
That needs to be like an event. I want to see that like as a live stream event. Like, what can we do? I'll moderate.
Yeah, you'll yeah. Hank's like, I will cover this. I will make it happen. I will produce the stream if this happens. We should just have you like on the broadcast, just so everyone can see your facial expressions.
Exactly.
We, like, hurl the greatest Hank compliments at each other to try and.
It'd be like one of those old like. It'd be one of those like those old WWE Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
Only one of like just literally just like oh he got the chair.
He got the chair. Oh no, he's up on the ropes.
Star Wars rush.
Adobe Live SmackDown Sunday. We already got it. We already got it down, guys. This is gonna be a very, very wild event.
1000%.
I drove past a place named VooDoo Chicken Wings the other day, and I need to go there for dinner now. That sounds excellent. If you don't take pictures, I'll be upset.
1000%.
Yes.
Go in there and tell the owner to put together a coupon code that says VooDoo Val. That get 15% off your order.
And I will send people there. I happen to know a lot of people who would think that is super awesome. So that would definitely. Anthony says I'd watch that stream. The Adobe Live SmackDown? Yeah, me too.
No, that would be. Adobe, do not do that without me. Like,
yeah. Don't take my idea.
It doesn't have to be about me, but if you do a SmackDown, like let me be involved in some kind of way.
Please let me do this. Wow, the stream has taken a turn for the odd. It's been like this since the beginning. It was like this before we started, Lindsay. It really has. It was. I think it like because we were goofing around beforehand, and then as soon as the stream started, we were very professional, and then it just slowly came apart. It's just, you know.
That's just.
What are you gonna do?
I know it's like we're at home, like we're drawing,
Mm-hmm.
like great stuff. I can't be professional right now.
I know that's like a thing I've noticed, you know, since I started doing the streams, because I used to do like the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenges from my house, but if I did a hosting segment or if I came in as a guest, I would go to the San Francisco office like everybody else. Then I've noticed since I'm not doing that anymore, I'm way goofier on stream because I'm sitting in my office and I have my green screen up, but this room is packed to the brim with Star Wars stuff. There's an 8-foot Kylo Ren cutout on the wall directly to my right, and I look over at him sometimes. Like, it's hard for me to be like, hello, welcome to Adobe Live.
Like, just like staring at you, it's like, come on.
Yeah, it's just different. It's a whole different atmosphere. Sometimes you guys don't know it, but my chihuahuas are warming my feet under the desk, and like I'm being very professional, and I'm just like petting my dogs with my toes, and you have no idea.
Flex.
Yeah, you have no
That
idea.
is a flex. That's a flex.
It's a totally different professional atmosphere these days.
But what is professional? You know?
I don't know. Well, my professional now is I've got like a really cool jacket on, but I swear to you, I'm wearing swim trunks right now.
There you go.
I'm wearing, like, I literally, not even kidding, I've got swim trunks on and they don't even match. They're bright pink and blue, and that's my normal now.
There you go. Professionally you.
Yeah, this is my normal. So that I can like leave work and go directly to a pool if that's what I want to do.
That is a win.
Nicole says, I love how I feel like I'm just hanging out with a couple of friends listening to you two. I'm so happy you feel that way. 1000%.
And we talked about that too, Val. Like we gotta make this chill. Like,
yeah,
we want to be
really.
We make this chill.
And I like it too because I think, like, to be perfectly honest, no matter how familiar I become, like, conducting these streams and being on Adobe, I still, even, like, myself, I still get, like, butterflies and, like, nerves every time I go live, you know? Because I'm excited. I'm excited to see the chat. I'm excited to talk with my guests and stuff, but I still get, like, because I'm running it from home, you know? Like, I don't have Paco's magic to, you know, save me if something goes wrong, and I still get nervous. And so it's really, really cool just to be able to, like, jump in and stream with somebody as fabulous as Hank, because you make it very easy to have a good time and chill out and calm down a little bit, you know.
The blush.
Oh,
the blush. It comes
instant anime blushies. Instant anime blushies right there. Wade is like, stream life, am I right? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. There's people in chat. Cody Bear streams, Wade streams. I think there's a handful of other people in here that stream on Behance. We got streamers. They know about that life.
There you go.
Darius says, I feel like I'm listening to my blood-related family. That is awesome. We are a family here, though.
We're related.
We are.
We're related.
Yeah.
I'm your third cousin on your dad's side.
I'm your sixth cousin on your mother's side, twice removed.
Exactly.
For being sassy.
Yeah, we met one time at a family reunion, you know, back when we was like, 5 months old, you know. That's about it.
It's funny because we don't know Darius, and he could be like 50, and we're like, we met you when you were 5 months old. We have a time machine. We have a time machine.
Yeah. We came from the future.
Yes.
And things have changed.
Plot twist. We are traveling through time. Cody's right. We do have 10 minutes until we will be going over the Daily Creative Challenges. Please join the Discord community and submit your work in the current challenge tab. Yes, indeed. And there is the link. We're going to take a look, take a gander I don't get to use that word often, so I'm using it now.
What a win.
We're gonna take a gander at your art in about 10 minutes, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty pumped to see what you folks have created.
For sure. I can't wait till the mock-ups of, you know, people who are running these come out. Like, that's gonna be so clutch.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. All right, well, we're making some good progress over here. We're cooking with gas.
You really are. Like, I mean, because sometimes, I mean, as somebody who's been a guest as well, sometimes it can be really nerve-wracking to be like, all right, I'm gonna be on Adobe and everyone's watching and I gotta finish it, you know. But sometimes, like, if you find a really good groove, it's not actually as terrifying as it can sometimes seem before you get on, you know. And you found a really fabulous groove, I think, you know.
No, it's you in the chat. You're creating a good vibe. So like, it honestly just seems like it just feels like we're all like in this big studio and like there's literally like a random conversation. I feel like we're in a meeting room at the office. That's really what it is. Like,
and oddly, the chair in the meeting room at the office feels exactly like my favorite chair.
There you go.
You get it, you know?
There you go. And then like Michael Scott is giving us a presentation. I don't know, Kevin's in the back doing a crossword puzzle, and we're just living life.
Everybody's chilling out. Alexis Roberts just joined the chat and says, "Hi, I'm Hank's #1 fan." We already have a running of people who are claiming to be Hank's #1 fan. If you would like, Alexis, we can invite you to the strange battle royale of compliments to Hank to try and become his #1 fan.
He might have an advantage. That's my girlfriend.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
I just already started. I didn't even ask who you were, Alexis. I just started throwing shade immediately. I didn't really greet you or anything. I was just like, get in line. And welcome in, Alexis. Hank's like, Val, excuse me, maybe not, maybe.
No. No, she's in a different type of pool. She already had the title.
All right. We knew. Then we're competing for Hank's #2 fan. That's what. Me and Adobe Live are gonna have to bump down. Yeah, we're competing for second and third place.
No.
That's what we're competing. First place has already been taken.
That's hilarious.
Ooh. No, that's hilarious. No, I think I remember hearing her actually before. I was like, she sounds super funny. She sounds super cool.
She's hilarious. No, if there's anyone that can keep me on my toes, it's definitely her. She's hilarious.
Cornell says, "Who won?" We know who won now. I'm quiet. I'm simmering down. I'm not. No,
just came in and just took the whole title.
Didn't even have to compete. She's just like, "Yo, what's up? How you doing?"
Love you, babe. Thank you.
You guys are cute. That's awesome. I love the support. This is great.
No, she's amazing. All
right. I'm searching through here. I'm kind of peeking ahead of time. I'm taking a little peek into the Discord to see what everyone has posted, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm very happy. So awesome. I can't wait to pull it up and look through everything. I think when we do that, we've got about 5 minutes. I will maybe show my screen for that segment so I can scroll through steadily, and then you can pull up the Discord so that you can also see what we're looking at, and then you can kind of jump around how you like, because then that way I know that like everyone can see the whole Discord, and you can feel free to like, you know, go through and look at things however long you like to look at them, and we'll just talk about each individual thing that we have. There's a lot of them in here, and so I'm super proud of you guys. I'm always proud of you. I'm biased because I love you all, but I'm proud.
No, most definitely.
How to create the texture by using the brush? Can you explain? From Senthil Ron. yeah, maybe you can kind of go over your brushes and how exactly you're using them.
Yeah, for sure. So what I have now, this is a custom made brush. Yeah, I call Fuzzy. And this was just built just, from scratch. So what I done was I created a new file and I just added like these really, really tiny circles and just, sporadically like just put them all over the place. And went through the process of just creating that brush, which is actually fairly simple. It's not really that hard. Probably I guess the most intricate steps of those is just creating the settings for the brush, right? So once you have it made, I went in and just tweaked these to my liking, in regards to just like how I felt the fuzz should kind of feel. But you can kind of see I just only played with just like 4 little settings here, and that's just like honestly some of these are not even as active, but I just have them up just in case there is like a certain type of change I want to have, and that is just the shape dynamics, the scattering, and the texture. And what the scattering does specifically is when you kind of up the jitter and the count, it basically puts like a randomness to it. So every time you actually press down or you make a stroke, the brush actually rotates and just like puts those marks in different places every time, and it allows just like a different type of variety. And then just adding a little bit of texture, you can kind of see just a little bit of contrast, and that just gives it more of a gritty feel. And then just smoothing. Oops, check it out. Then I just have the smooth settings kind of set here, just so the brush kind of flows in a smooth way. Because like with the colors, I try to build up value in regards to shadows and highlights, and this just allows me to not feel so pressured to get it right, like right when I make a brush stroke. I can kind of build up those values and it kind of almost ultimately hide some of those mistakes that I have or that I will make in the drawing. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I promise I will put out something to show that more more intricate, just to show like a little bit more details. But who knows? I actually might make this brush just available so you guys can just kind of check it out and have some fun with it for sure.
Yeah, I think that was the next question that Senthil had was, can you create a brush for me? But I think, yeah, if you wanted to share the brushes, I think everyone would love to test them out. So yeah, Senthil, maybe if you decide to do that, where might we find that, Hank? Like on your Instagram or?
Yes, I'll probably announce it on the Instagram, and I'll probably just make it available on my website at hankdesigns.com, and where you guys are able to download it. So be on the lookout. I said it in public, so now I got to make it happen. So most definitely, but no, definitely, that's something I'm gonna put on the to-do list, and I promise I'll make it available for sure.
Awesome. Okay, you guys heard it here. He made another promise. Now we get to harangue him about it later.
Yeah, there you go. Hold me accountable.
Yeah.
Make me do it.
So definitely keep an eye on Hank's Instagram. If we could get a link to his Instagram in the chat, that would be great. You guys can keep an eye, and also just follow him in general because he's fabulous, and you guys will definitely want to see everything he does coming up after this project is over. Yeah, keep an eye, even check out his website and stay updated there. Also, we have got like just a couple of minutes before we jump into the challenge entries. So I would say to you, Hank, maybe wind down a little bit. We'll look through some of the entries, and then just before we take off, I'll make sure that we come back and we have some time for you to do a recap of your art and kind of go over what you did, and we can show the whole thing off, and then we'll chit chat before we take off for the day.
Most definitely.
Anthony says your Instagram is dope, man. It is. It seriously is. It's great. Lots of color, lots of texture, animations, everything. It's full of personality and life.
Thank you. Man, you guys are so nice.
Anime blushies, Insta blushies. Is that what we're getting here?
Definitely. No, I wish like you can have like the little characters, the little lines that come out when you're blushing.
Yes. Little happy tears in the corners, a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Well, it looks like it is time, folks. I am going to pop over here. Let me see if we can do this. Boom. All right. So this is our Discord. If you folks have never join the Discord. If you go to bit.ly/psdiscord, that is where you can find this server. We'll get a link in the chat for you folks that you can follow. Also, if you're over on YouTube right now and you're wondering why you're not seeing all these links and things, definitely head over to behance.net/live, because that is where we're posting all of the resources for you over here in the Behance chat. If you scroll on the left-hand side, you will see in the feedback section, there's a channel called Current Challenge. And so that is where I am at right now. And I'm scrolling through and just kind of looking at what people have done. So today we are warping text with a displacement map, which is super awesome. And I see this first one here from KTU. So I'm going to open that up. Are you able to view the challenge entries at the moment, Hank?
Not yet. I am trying to look up for the Discord. Oh, I think I found it.
There you go.
Let's see. Double check, make sure I'm in.
There's also a quick link in the chat if you want to just open in your browser, which is also cool. And also, just a quick reminder to people, maybe if there's folks in chat who are not familiar with Discord, you can actually use Discord by downloading the desktop app. So you can actually have the Discord app on your computer, or you can actually click the link and you can open the Discord in your web browser, which is totally cool too. All you have to do is just kind of log in, like create an account with your username of choice and your email, and confirm it, and then you can jump in and everyone can see who you are. One thing that I noticed whenever I'm looking in Discord is sometimes people in the chat have a completely different name in Discord than they do in Behance chat. So if you guys have different names, do a little shout out. There's a channel over here. Let me see. Yeah, introductions in chat. You guys can come in and introduce yourself and say, "Hey, I'm so and so from Behance. This is me," so that we know who you are. And then even maybe let us know in Behance, like, yeah, I just joined Discord and this is my name, so we know who you are. And then yeah, we can all hang out and give each other feedback on work and check out each other's challenge entries. Alrighty. Let me know when you are ready to go, Hank.
Okay, I am ready.
Awesome. All right, so this first one, if you scroll down to the very bottom of the current challenge thing, there's one there from KTU. So I'm going to open that one up, and it says, "Write your story." And I think this is really interesting. I'm seeing, it looks like you've used the displacement map of like a paper bag texture, kind of. And yeah, I can see like the subtle warping of it, but it's not so dramatic that it's over the top. And there's also like, it looks like a very subtle shadow, so it looks like somebody cut out pieces of paper and laid them down. I think that's really cool. I don't know personally that I would have thought to choose all these colors together, but I actually think it looks pretty cool. What do you think, Hank?
Yeah, I think so. I think the color scheme is really nice. It feels very soft and very like warm.
Yeah.
I think like you said, I think it's I didn't think of like just having that displacement on text. I wonder what that texture would look like on an image, almost like if there was like a picture of maybe someone writing, like an actual hand like writing, like what if like there was like write your story as like a pattern or something on there. I think that could be like really interesting. But again, I think that the color choice and just the texture is really nice.
Yeah, it's very open and inspiring in that way. That's very cool. So well done, KTU. It looks like we just got a brand new one from Andrea coming in with the love here, and it looks like it has been applied to the window, like a rained on window, which is cool. This is neat. I think I think the only thing that sticks out to me for this one is the stylized E. I almost wish it was as big as the other letters. Because I think that's like catching me off guard a little bit as I'm looking for it. to be that big, and it makes me want to almost pronounce the name differently.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a really cool concept, and it has some really nice texture going on in it. What do you think, Hank?
No, I agree. I think the size of the E, it does make it a little bit it can make it a little bit challenging to read, but it, obviously we kind of can tell like the concept of it with the color. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the blend of it is really nice, especially in the O, just like
Oh
how it's
yeah.
very faint in the top and you can kind of see it more filled in the bottom, but having those drops really distorted and really like mess with the edges of this feels really nice. So and even just the almost the composition of it, of just like how it's kind of slightly tilted where the left side is a little bit closer to you versus like the right side is a little bit further
Mm-hmm.
back. It does give it a lot of depth. So no, really good job on this. I think the E is probably the only thing that's kind of sticking out just a
Yeah.
little bit more than probably it needs to, but no, really great approach. I really like this a lot.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well done. That was from Andrea. So awesome, Andrea. And then we
No, good
scroll up
job, Andrea.
here. Starkus has this one that says "Water is life."
Mhm.
Awesome. This is cool. That almost looks like that might be like written on the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I really like that a lot. Yeah, it's almost like it's two types. Like I can see it being like written on the bottom of the pool, but even like if it was like just floating like really on top, almost like if it was like um, almost like it's like someone like painted the water actually, like the waves
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
Yeah, and I really love like how the L and the S is like really distorted, and even just seeing like the blend in the E.
totally.
Um, yeah, I think this is really nice. Probably the only thing is like the harshness of the color. I wonder
Mm-hmm.
if it would if it looked like in a navy blue or really more of just like having that water really affect that color. So I'm not too sure if it would show up like that harsh of a black color, but overall, I
Even
mean,
even like a
uh,
red, because I'm trying to think
yeah,
in my head of like colors that they typically use to paint things
mm,
underwater.
definitely
I've seen pools that have like red, so you can see it through the blue. And I
right.
think you could even, if the purpose of this was to simulate what it might look like if something was written under the water,
Hmm.
you might even take the image that you used for the displacement map and put it over the top and put it on a blending mode, like
Hmm.
an overlay or a color dodge or something, and
Right.
mask out certain parts so that you get some more of that water shine over the top of the letters.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
To
definitely.
kind of make it look more like there's water between the letters and the viewer.
Yeah.
That would look pretty cool.
No, that would definitely look epic. And then just
Yeah.
throw someone like on like a donut floaty, like in the top corner, just like
Oh yeah. Give it some scale,
there you
give
go.
it some, give the viewer some context for like what this is. I would definitely, yeah, put some floaties like hanging out on there, or
There
a
you go.
guy like in an inner tube just kind of cruising by. That would be cool.
Most definitely. No,
That's a
that would
great
be epic.
idea. All right, that was from Starkus. Well done. Now let's see what else we have. Looks like Jay Lewis has posted just the texture that they may be using for their original image.
Mhm.
And let's see. Oh, here's the actual displacement product that they made. So the Camp DCC, and then they used that fabric
Oh,
image
okay,
they posted
gotcha.
as the displacement map. This is cool. I really like the if you look close, you can see around the very edges of the letters, it has a lot of like almost like a noise texture on the edge.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
actually really like that, and I want to look and peek at the original image. Yeah, the image, the fabric has kind of that texture, like it might be
Yeah,
velvet, so it really came out in the edges of the font, and I think that's actually so cool.
definitely. No, I definitely agree. I think the like I said, the edges feel very interesting and it's almost like it's like disintegrating just a little bit.
Yeah.
Very subtly. And I would love to see it like in application. Like where can you like blend this with, an image or maybe even put it on. Honestly, I see it as a shirt to be
Yeah.
honestly, I can see it as a really nice shirt or or even like a towel or something like that. Just something that like you can really have that texture really stand out on. But no, but I think the displacement and the subtle textures outside of these and just how unique each letter is, but still be legible is really nice.
Yeah, I agree, and kind of like what you're saying, like where can you put this? I think that you've done such a cool job making the awesome effect on this
Mhm.
font on these words, but I think that you maybe missed an opportunity to fill the rest of the canvas with something because it looks so awesome. You know, maybe sit and do some brainstorm, like Hank said. Maybe think about putting it on a shirt mock-up or
Mhm.
something, because it's too cool to sit on a canvas by itself, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go.
So
Most
that
definitely.
was from Jay Lewis. That was awesome. And then this one, I'm gonna briefly peek at Mahdi's, but I think that this is a previous challenge, so
Oh
we
yeah,
won't go over it heavily because we are trying to go over the ones from today's challenge. But well done, Mahdi. Thank you for submitting your work.
for sure.
And then this one, Harvey says, "Hi y'all, what's up? Halloween in June. What do you think?
Yeah.
Y'all know I love Halloween. Like, obviously, I love Halloween. So Halloween in June sounds great to me. But this is
Definitely.
cool.
Most
Um,
definitely.
yeah, I'd love to know what the texture was originally because it's very interesting the way that it's actually distorted. What do you think about the texture, Hank?
Yeah, I think the texture is very interesting. It does have a Halloween vibe. I almost see it as like pumpkin carvings, like even in the H,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
crossbar in the H, it's like almost like the teeth of a jack-o'-lantern or something like that. But yeah, like you said, I would love to see like kind of where this texture what came from, and
Mm-hmm.
then also just see it in application, just like the Camp DCC one. I think this has a lot of interesting characteristic that I think is too cool to be by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say explore where this can live, and but overall the texture I think is really interesting, and it's definitely Halloween and June vibes for sure.
Yeah. I love it. I couldn't agree more. I think it's probably the same. Honestly, Jay Lewis and Harvey, you guys both got the same thing going on here, where you guys both created some really epic text,
Right,
and submitted it on a black background. Maybe you guys could even put your heads together and think of some cool stuff because you guys have like similar tasks at hand now. It's like, where does this live? Now that I've
right.
created it, that's opportunity to make friends in the Discord and
That's creative.
share ideas.
Or maybe
Um,
like Hi Y'all is like part of Camp DCC. Like hey, just like
yeah,
it's Camp DCC. Hi Y'all.
collab, collab. I love it. I love it. I feel like we just facilitated a new friendship. That's how I feel.
Yeah, there we go. That's a win. That's a win for the year.
Oh yes. So Starkus posted. This is the first version of the Water is Life that they added. And I
Okay.
like this one too. This one it also has like a lot of the glare over the top. But
Hmm.
I think I like the other one better, where the font is larger.
Yeah,
But the
agreed.
W and the T in this one looks really sick.
Most definitely. No,
This
I
is
love
cool.
how just they're just distorted completely, but you can still read it and it's still legible. So no, really good job on that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and I think we'll look at maybe a couple more before we kind of do like a recap and revisit your work, and then say our goodbyes. So let's look at this one from Madi. Is this? Let me see. Are we doing? I think Mahdi's is also one that's not for today's current challenge, but I'll still pull it up and check it out. This monogram.
Hmm.
This is neat. Wishing you
Hmm.
well. Thank you very much for your submission.
Definitely.
And then Brienne says only added the text. Awesome. So this is cool. This is like I think that means that maybe the balloon was already on the
Already
wall.
there. Yeah.
Um, and honestly, if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have noticed.
Most definitely.
This looks
No,
good. What do you think?
yeah. No, I really like this a lot. I love how the brick is bleeding out, like kind of bleeding out, especially like in steel, in the word steel, of how
Mm-hmm.
it's just like you can see it starting to really distort. Yeah, honestly, I think this is a really nice blend. It's super close to the colors. Um, I would love to see kind of like a little bit of just like how that highlight is in the balloon, maybe somewhere in within like the letters itself, just so it
Oh
ties in a little
yeah.
bit closer. But no, but I think the blend is really nice. It's a really good job.
Yeah, I also just like the image as a whole, like with all these really, like, I don't really know the purpose of any of these windows. They're all at like different places and it must be on like the side of a factory or a warehouse or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Because there's like, it's so weird. There's even like a really, really teeny tiny square one at the bottom left.
Yeah.
And it just kind of adds almost like they're also balloons floating up at different intervals. Like, it's just cool to me. I love this. I think this is great. I think you did a fabulous job. This would even be like a cool poster or something. That's neat.
Definitely.
That from Brienne. Well done, Brienne.
Good job.
Let's see. This next one is from Matt, Matto Faber, or Matt of Aberies. I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's all written together. Sorry. I tried. But Matt,
Yeah,
I'll call you
job.
Matt. Yeah. It looks like we got some, like a little bit of a collection of stuff from Matt just above the final product there, where we can see what Matt used as a displacement map and all the steps outlined in stages and things. This is really awesome. I think it's got like that's a pretty cool final thing here too, and especially after seeing what was used as the displacement image, I'm actually really surprised at how it turned out. I wouldn't have imagined, but this is neat.
Definitely. No, it's super interesting. It has like this glitch effect. Like it's almost like I see something like trying to either like come in focus or like almost trying to come out of focus or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, and the color mask is like it's really nice. I think it has like almost like an itchy like Christmas vibe to it.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of reminds me of those things. Remember those images when we were kids where like you stand really close to them and then you blur your eyes and then you push it farther and farther away from you and then you see an animal appear? Remember those?
Yeah, definitely. No, that definitely reminds me of that. Oh
yeah. I gotta go find one of those now. I gotta find
there
one.
You go. On a mission.
Yep. They used to be like hung up all over the place, and like it was like the coolest thing ever that humans had discovered. And they're like, check this out. You see only a pattern, and then suddenly giraffe. Boom.
Giraffe.
Right there. There's a giraffe now. Bet you weren't expecting that. But very well done, Matt. Very well done.
Really
and then
good
this
job.
one, I think this is probably a really, really excellent note to end on. This one from Danny Joe. Says, this image was in my mood board at the beginning of the series. The whole situation had me really down, and I wanted to get out all the feelings I was craving creating something. I probably would not have done these challenges if not for the current cultural situation of the world outside. This photo was from Unsplash artist Oladimeji Udunsi. And this is just a really beautiful Black Lives Matter inspirational kind of awareness post here, and this is beautiful.
It's so powerful.
Oh yeah, I
really
love like how half of the letters really like fade into the skin there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually really, this is really dope actually. It almost looks like if on the right side of it, it's almost like it's like a tattoo type of thing. But I guess the way it's blended, like the shadow area almost looks like the arm is open up, and that can be like very representative, like this is something that's not only like on us but it's like it's in us. So like I think I can really see that. And no, this is powerful. I actually would love this as a poster, to be honest with you.
Definitely.
This is epic. No, really good job on this one. Yeah, just the texture of just like how the letters are kind of distorted, and I love like it's picking up the kind of the grainish of the skin. Is really nice. I probably would love to see it a little bit more kind of like on the left side of it with the M. But if that can pull it off, I think that can really tie this whole thing together. And again, just the photo itself is already strong, but just to have that message and have it blended the way you done it, like that's a really good job. No,
yeah,
I really love that.
I love it. I'd love to see this put into a poster mock-up, to be honest, just to see what it would
Most
look
definitely.
like. You know, this is great. Well done, Danny
Ah,
Joe. That was beautiful. We'll give you some little emojis here. And that, I think, is probably all the time that we can spend on looking through the challenge entries for today. Because we got
mhm.
about 5 minutes before we have to wrap up. So I'm going to flip back over to your artwork, Hank. And maybe
Okay.
for anybody who just jumped in while we were doing challenge entries, or just for anyone who's been here and wants a little recap, why don't we talk about what you worked on today and kind of show off the end product here, and maybe tell everybody where they can also find you for your future work and things.
Most definitely. So yeah, so this is kind of close to the final product. There's still a little bit of some tweaking here that we're probably going to get into later. But I'll definitely share this because I definitely want you guys to see it. But as far as where you can find me, I'm across the internet. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm there. I have a YouTube. I'm on. I actually do the Behance live stream. So I live stream on Behance weekly.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so if you want to come and hang there, it's just like this, good vibes where we can chat and just draw more fuzzies like this. Yeah, so I'm across there. I'm on every other platform. So if you guys ever want to follow me or just reach out, please feel free. I'm more than happy just to either just chat and be patient with me. If I don't respond to your message right then, it usually doesn't mean I don't see it. It's just probably in a position where I can't answer it right then.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely feel free to reach out. No, and you guys have been great. Like this has been fun. I've looked forward to this for all week, honestly.
Oh, awesome. I mean, it's been a pleasure for me, absolutely. And I know everyone in chat really had a great time today.
Hmm.
Also, Danny, that made that last poster that we saw, says, "Thank you guys for your praise. I'm shaking right now." You deserve it. You deserve it, Danny. That
No,
was beautiful.
no, that is you. No, good job.
All
Really good.
you, all you. But yeah, so I want to check through chat and make sure that I haven't missed any questions. We do have a few more minutes before we take off. So if anyone has some last minute questions that we can answer for you, now is definitely the time. Cody Bear is posting Hank's Behance and Instagram and things in the chat where you folks can all find him. Probably will. I assume that we'll probably see you post this finished product on like your Instagram or something
Hmm.
as you finish it. So you know you guys can come and check out the final version of this when he's done, and also just keep track of what he's doing for all his upcoming projects.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Pamela, Cody actually posted the link for you. Pamela was asking how can we find you on Behance.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
and then, do you have any, in the last couple minutes, do you have any current projects that are like in progress right now that we can get excited about? Like any current, even if they're just personal projects or things that
Hmm.
you're working on right now?
Yeah, most definitely. So I have a few case studies that I'm actually really excited to share. Still working on some final things just to make that available. But yeah, I'm actually working on a couple personal things. So one, I promise you guys some brushes, so that's definitely coming.
Yes, I can't
I have
wait.
some of these brushes so you can make some fuzzies. And I'm also working on a coloring book right now for these. So I'm actually working on building up a collection of these characters and just creating a digital coloring book so you guys can enjoy this anywhere, and even just if it's an opportunity just to practice, or if even if you have kids or something like that, if you want to just kind of keep them busy or just introduce them to like a new illustration style or anything. Working on some coloring some digital and print ready coloring books that you guys can check out. Other
That
than that,
sounds awesome. That's
yeah, other than
awesome.
that, that's much
Yeah.
it. That's it for right now. Other things are coming,
Excellent.
but right now,
Well, I can't wait to get my hands on that. I'm definitely gonna do that. Check
for
out
sure.
the coloring book. Yeah, Cody's like, ooh, coloring book. Everyone's like, oh, there's so many O's in chat right now. um, but yeah, so Andrew Huckrattle is right. The Illustrator DCC is up next, so hang around. He's gonna be your new best friend because he is teaching the Illustrator DCC. And we were just talking about how excellent Andrew Huck is. So you definitely don't want to miss that. We are out of time, folks. We have to take off, but Hank, it has been an absolute pleasure hosting you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And we will catch you guys around another time. Adios, folks.
See ya.